Hello and welcome to the ASPS International Residence Scholar podcast. For today's episode, we'll be talking about surviving plastic surgery training as a microsurgeon. This topic will help you with all interests in microsurgery fellowships. On today's episode, we are lucky to be joined by Dr. Chiara Camilloni to talk about surviving plastic surgery training as a microsurgeon. I'll turn the mic over to Dr. Camilloni introduce herself.
Thank you for the invitation and for this amazing opportunity of joining this ASPS podcast. My name is Chiara. Please just call me Chiara, not Dr. Son Menfries. And I would like to introduce myself a little bit. I am a 50-year resident in plastic reconstructive aesthetic surgery from Italy. 50 years is the last year here. I'm actually going to graduate in January, so next month. And I guess my post-certification. And I've been interested in microsurgery actually since next day. On my residency, I have been following this subspecialty. And I had the amazing opportunity of starting in Taiwan when I was in my fourth year in 2022. I first joined the Advanced Microsurgery Fellowship with Professor Anxi Chen in Taichung City in China Medical University yesterday for late on. And then after that, I joined another fellowship in the hospital in Taichung City with Professor Sekwen Gwen. Then that was 7 months fellowship, yes. And then he has to come back to Italy.
That you do when I was in your product with. Can you just tell us what were the steps required to become a plastic surgeon, or what is the process?
Okay, yes. Well, of course, you have to graduate from med school and get your qualification to practice. And getting into residency is quite hard if you want to go into the most unpopular residencies like plastic surgery. Even if now the more like the lifestyle that residency specialties are more in demand, like dermatology, cardiology, that sort of stuff. Plastic surgery is going down a bit. And there is like a nationwide examination, free for all, everybody against each other. And according to the rankings that they are national, you can apply for a residency medicine. So for plastic surgery, you need to a very high ranking than 5, especially because my school for that skill, because of rank is not considered a real job in Italy. It's considered like speaking in it's considered one of the best in the country. It's one of the more competitive programs.
So, what is the duration of the residency program? Is it linked, or you have to do around 2 parts of it? How does it?
It's 5 years for plastic surgery. For other specialties, 4 years. And it really depends on the school you met changing, because it's different in each school. In our hospital, we are lucky because we have almost all 6 specialties of plastic surgery except bars and PEM. Then on top of that, we can also rotate in some let's call them county hospitals, smaller hospitals outside the city, where we can the day-to-day stuff like skin cancer, stuff like that. And that a very good thing about residency in Italy is that we have an 18 months long period where we can be outside our hospital, wherever in the world, in Italy, abroad, wherever you want to go, you can go. And we're still getting paid. We don't get paid much, but at least we can go abroad like I did when I went to Taiwan and still receive our scholarships. And this is an amazing opportunity, I think, to, better your training, to widen your mindset, to see and learn stuff that even, imagine exists. And I'm very thankful for my professor for allowing me to spend all the 18 months abroad. He actually wanted me to stay in Taiwan even for even more time, but the law doesn't permit it. And not everybody has the idea as me. I was extremely lucky to have this opportunity, and I'm so very thankful and grateful.
It's very nice to hear that you are like satisfied with them because it's your university support you in international exchange and fellowship because every part of work has something they can offer and different perspectives of what's in certain and the other specialty as well. Can you tell us what is the current situation in Italy regarding microsurgery? How well it's like the current status in plastic surgery societies in Italy, and also what is the percentage of microsurgeons there?
The situation with plastic surgeons in Italy is quite strange because now I'm gonna tell you a statistic that is gonna blow your mind. There are more plastic surgeons in the city of Rome than in the entire United States. The government didn't really plan that much for it, but like all these plastic surgeons, most of them, they only work in private practice, and they are not mostly called the national health system because national health system isn't hiring. Like I'm graduating next month, right? And I'm gonna be unemployed. This is unheard of in other countries because I haven't been able to find a spot because it's like, I don't know, maybe 10 spots per year in the entire country, but like at least 100 people are graduating in the entire country, right? And then you have to account for the people that graduated before. So it was really strange when I tell people abroad about this, because in other places, your road forward is more straightforward. Like if you graduate from residency, you already have a job as a fellow or as a consultant or as a locums or whatever already lined up. But really, it's not like this. And this is a problem, I think, because as I say that training microsurgeon, I want to be a microsurgeon, but there are not many places in Italy that microsurgery is performed, not many hospitals, right? So it's not a given that I will be able to find a job in one of these places. I risk of being able to go on microsurgery path, even if I have the skills, and it can be total waste, I think. And this is one of the reasons why I also looking for growth. I actually matching the fellowship in methodologies class reconstruction for next year with Professor Kinder in Maastricht. And I'm extremely excited to go there and join and learn class reconstruction, which I love. So, but yeah, most of my colleagues, the people I speak with, most of them are going to private practice, but not because it's the only thing that they want to do. It's because they need to pay the rent to survive.
Comparing to Asia, how did you feel Asia regarding the hospital structures and also microsurgery requirements there?
Yeah, I found it was very different. There are very few residents, but the right number of residents because in Italy, too many people, the hospital can account for all of us. Well, not enough trains for us, which is one of the reasons why I had to log in. Um, I think that one is very structured. And one thing that um, kind of surprised me, because I was prepared to see a different kind of epidemiology of different diseases treated there. Like, for example, here in Europe, we do a lot of breast reconstruction because breast cancer is quite common. On the other hand, in Taiwan, the breast reconstruction is not covered by NHS. It's related surgery. So, and it's mostly done by the breast surgeon, not by the plastic surgeon. And that's about it one breast implant. So that was very different. But what really surprised me was how much the surgery was like integrated with plastic surgery. But it was like it's like they are synonymous, I, it's like, if you want to call yourself a rocket surgeon, then you know how to be microsurgery. So that's totally not the case at all in Italy. It's only like a small percentage of us that is mad enough to go into microsurgery, you know, because it's a very hard field. It's a high skill field of learning. You need to account for a lot of time. That that obviously you take a look on your family, friends, and free times. And that's the issue I was mentioning about finding a job. Because now, yes, I think my surgery because I like not a given I will be able to continue on the path, you know.
And I had also a chance to visit Asia and to do a fellowship there, and that was a part that I felt as well as you did. There were like structure, like the feeling about the work is really specific for that
Yes. Yeah,
part of the work.
where did you go?
I went to China.
Oh, yeah,
I went to China Medical University.
it's nice. That's nice.
And I mean, what was your first impression when you arrived in Taiwan for the fellowship? How did you feel the hospital, the environment, your duties there, and the schedule?
Okay, let me tell you this. When I first arrived in Kaishong, there were already four fellows from Italy. It was all Italian people, and this tells you a lot. So the culture shock wasn't that harsh, you know. I had somebody who speak Italian, uh, and obviously the language barrier is there, but they taught me like how to ask for the instruments in Taiwanese. You know, they told me about all the different cultural things and stuff. How you know, just even the stuff of how the 7-Eleven works, that it's open 24/7, and that's completely outside of it's completely out of our mind, you know, for Italy, something that we exist stuff like that. Or how to ask for the bubble tea because I need to ask for half sugar because otherwise it's too sweet for us, you know, stuff like that. And so I think I was actually less culture shock than I was expecting, if that makes any sense to you. But I think that's because I had a guidance in the guys that I found, and also I was really excited to take this opportunity. I mean, I was, I was my mentally getting ready to it the days before, and I was very, very much looking forward to it. So I was ready to face anything, you know, just send me in the middle of the desert with wild animals. I'm gonna do it. As if I want to do it, I'm gonna become a mega soldier. I'm gonna face anything.
So I just thought that like that willingness when you are coming to new parts of the world or like in the hospital, it makes like even easier like to pass some not quizzes but like some term that you have to do in your environment. So I think that it does really carry it up as you mentioned before. I wanted to ask you more about like language barrier. How was it for you to do like outpatient clinic, like a consultation with patients, and like do some parts. How did you manage to like to do it?
But all the mentors I worked with, like Professor Chen, Secretary Chen, Dr. Shi, and everybody, they always took their time to explain to us all about the patient before or after the operation or the recitation or whatever it was. And that was certainly kind of a them because obviously it takes time you know, um, of that day. And many times I remember when I first arrived in the hospital, Dr. Shi before, when he had like an outpatient visit from one of his, let's say, old patients, so they like throw up the picture from his procedures. And these are things that I've had like 4, 5, 6 reflux, you know, stuff like that, or had an electrical structure or cancer. And it would show me like picture of the defect or picture of the CT scan, and he will ask you, what need you do? And obviously, couldn't answer because that's such a loaded and complex question. I mean, because usually rules recognize all the units of the text. And anyway, he would walk you through the planning and here and there about what flap I would use, how big, how to fold it, how to insert it, and where pedicle, how long pedicle, receiving vessels and stenosis or stuff like that. And it was like a flash course on EFLAP planning. I'm very, very thankful for this. It's extremely, extremely interesting stuff. So we just mostly talk in English and use the doctors. The nurses on average don't speak good enough English to have a conversation. So for the tools, we just learn the how to ask them in Taiwanese, like Taupian is Lancet. I can count to 10 because I learned by counting the sapus, which are the doses, or SARS, the etc. And I actually thought that I could learn a little bit more of the language, but I left for Taiwan, but it's such a different foreign language for us that it's impossible unless you concentrate on it as a full-time job. You go to a school, language school every day, you practice every day. That's the only way to learn it to set back from Europe. So that's the reason why even if I stayed there 1 year, I only know a few words.
You have a secretary to
Yes. Like the tones, man, I was starting to hear the tones like in my last month there, only after 1 year.
exactly, but at least like it's something interesting. Like when you get a few words, it also finds like a really good match. Despite the language barrier, what were the biggest challenges you had during your fellowship there?
I can tell you about the surgical challenges because everything else went quite smoothly. My trip went smoothly. I got started smoothly. Everything with the immigration office was extremely nice. Everybody was so helpful, and I'm thankful for that. I think the major challenges were actually in the OR, like there are some flaps with Professor Chen. As you know, is one of the world leaders in this material construction. So there's a lot of pages in flaps or dedicated columns, direction rule, this all stuff. And these are extremely that seem complex and long papers. Like I remember this case where was a pedagogy column and it's if we do all individual chart. So we had to prepare the second vet so you cannot work on the hard thing at the start. And then the flop start the afternoon. And then we went on all night until like 9 a.m. next day. And it was just me and Julio and Professor because our other kind of learnings and for work reason. And that day was a very hard, let me tell you. But I, if I can tell you, I don't know how to protect it feel about how it got this from me. And it's at this age, he's still innovating and doing research and planning and performing all his surgeries with just the help of the fellows. I think it's just out of this world, isn't it? But
Were you allowed to coordinate the search?
yeah, of course, we will have people who will like um rate the laughter if they were hospital or my exam class. The operation, we let us really venous and stenosis. Also, I took class in electric English experiments, all of the ideas, modified procedure, little front meditation and stuff like that. I mean, it was a, a very good characteristic of this program is that really felt, you know, while on the other hand, in South Sean, it was 95% head and neck. So I think that they go together really well, these two things, because with channel, you can learn everything of the plastic, with email, neck, also traction. And then if you're strong at to take copies and that the things you had a neck, which I found I really love this thing. So complex, challenging, and I think the patients are pulled up from a very can say uh, disadvantaged population that really needs their help in water microscopic surgery.
What were the techniques that impressed you the most? Is there any specific case or like a technique that you would mention?
Well, as I mentioned, the abdominal flap, like the technique flap, are on the stuff. Like, as you know, the ischemia time contractile is extremely short. It, you, you have to stay under 1 hour. So, it's like, uh, the sort of stuff that you have to be the best in your field to be in your, this is professionally, obviously. And also the other stuff that you got, there was little stuff like the field was cool. Now, this stuff is mostly useful in patient who speak autonomous language like Taiwanese, Mandarin, Cantonese, because for Western languages like English, Italian, the electrolyte that it was quite there. But the electrolyte can reproduce the tone in Taiwanese. So this is why this paper is very important for these patients. Because
Did you meet your expectation from fellowship
oh,
in a foreign country?
yes. Both fellowship definitely met my expectation, but I think they went beyond my expectation. You know, when I left Italy, on the one hand, I was extremely excited to finally have the opportunity to learn firsthand how to do microsurgery. But on the other hand, I was aware of the fact that this is such a wide and complex and ever-growing field that you can't master it in 1 year, You can't master it in one life. And so what I wanted was to get some basic, the substitute in microsurgery, and then get the opportunity to train on flap harvesting, on forming anastomosis, and especially on the insetting, because the insetting is the hardest part, especially in head and neck. The insetting is always gonna get you if you don't plan it thoroughly before. And I think now I am in that awkward phase where I can say I can do each step of a free flap on my own. I can say I can prepare the recipient vessel. I can raise the flap. I mean, of course, the VLT, the one I have most, uh, I am most comfortable with is the one I have done the most, especially in house unit. And I can perform the anastomosis. And I've also taken part in a bus microsurgical course recently in Debrecen, in Hungary, where I learned a lot of stuff, and I recommend it to anybody who's interested. Um, yet, I don't know if uh, I have the spark in me, to do everything from start to finish, to be the consultant, to be the one, the leader who does the feedback from start to finish. Now, I still want to find out about this. If I am able to, it's most skeptical why they actually got things and not a technical to it, because there's so much pressure need to keep up. Everything everything is on your shoulders, and if you have you have to monitor it, you have to bring it back to the OR if you have any doubt. and put the pressure is on you. And I, I need to find out if my shoulders are wide enough to withstand that pressure. You know?
Yeah, my question, I want to ask a question like how this, how it trained you and like how it shaped you as a plastic surgeon, and would you recommend doing fellowships to other plastic surgery residents? How do you think about it?
I'm aware about details and careful, even when I am doing like the types of general plastic surgery. Like, I don't know, like a couple of weeks ago, we did a breast reduction, or just like today, I did a skin graft. But I, I was focusing on all the details, so in a way that I think I didn't always do before. And this is, I think, very important stuff. Because that is in the details, you know? And the details is what it's a different plastic surgery, not just medicine, but plastic surgery itself. And with microsurgery, of course, you know, when you're working with a vessel that is 1 millimeter thick, you have to be on top of yourself. You know, you have to uh, um, do the second with extreme care, very carefully, with a lot of patience, which is another thing that I had to develop. And I think this is the major change. And of course, yes, I would advise anybody to uh, take part one of these fellowships abroad. You can go where I went, or you can find your own. But I think that for surgery and training, going abroad and seeing something else, something different from what we used to, but not just on a technical point of view, not just on a surgical point of view, but also on the mindset, or on the culture, on the relationship with patients, how the medical health system works, all that stuff. I think it's very important. And I also got to do a lot of research, both in Taichung and in Kaohsiung. The one article was just published on J Plus, and two abstracts were accepted by Europe for the 2026. I am very excited about this. And also for academic work, I think it broadens your view, gives you new ideas, broadens your network. You get to know so many people, exchange ideas with them, uh, perform a multi-center study. I think it's invaluable. I always advise all my fellow residents to, you know, just pack your bags and leave, go wherever, but don't stay in your work for 5 years. Because after 3 years, I'm not saying that you've seen everything you can see wrong, but I think that we should also go see someone.
Yeah, like to connect other perspectives from other parts of the world and connect with your homeland like experience. It's very like great to have it. What's your plans for the future? What are your goals in career now when you did all those research that you are on the final year of your residency?
Mhm.
What are the
This is a very good question, my man, because unemployment is just looking out the corner from you. Now I am the fellowship, which I won with Professor Finger, as I said. I'm gonna start in April in Maastricht, and it's gonna be just 6 months. So, and after that, I don't know where I will end up. I'm doing some job interviews, job examinations, space stuff that we have in Italy. I'm not gonna tell you about it. I don't wanna be an headache. But as I said before, getting a job as a plastic surgeon in Italy's NHS job's not easy at all. Like, not at all. So, and I will try, but I'm not sure if I can get one. Um, Other than that, I'm like farming my resume literally everywhere around the world. I send it from Sweden to Australia. I hope somebody will reach out. I just wanna keep on doing my research, you know? The thing that scares me the most is the stuff. being stuck, doing nothing. Not because of not. I mean, I joke about unemployment, but it's not the money the problem. In the fact that I don't wanna waste time, like just sitting on my heels and doing nothing instead of progress.
Yeah, that is what I think as well. I think that especially for us uh, young doctors, it's really important not to be not not satisfied, but we should never be satisfied by ourselves. There is
But
always
you should
to
always
improve
try to
ourselves.
better ourselves. Because once you start thinking that you're good, that you made it, that's the end. You're not gonna get better anymore. So I always say that I'm extremely bad because I am. That's true. I mean, there are not many good surgeons, which are way good, but which are way is a human being. So we should all strive to be as good as him, because if you try to get to the stars, you may not make it, but maybe you make it to the moon, as we say in Italy. So I think a little bit of ambition is actually doing our job, trying to always get better and better, and that's the proficiency.
It's really nice, and I'm glad to hear that from you and like everything just the like agrees on that topic. Tell me what advice would you give yourself, like when you were younger as a first year medical student?
Okay, if I met myself after first year at medical students, I'm a tell you the truth. I would tell her, get out. Get out right now while you're still alive. Get out right now while you can still make it, go do something else. I don't care what, but don't do it. That's what I really, yeah. No, okay. I'm joking as not. Yes, I have a very conflicted relationship with medicine, but I think that this relationship was kind of healed by my gap in plastic surgery because that opened up that again my other link with the creative part of our job, because it's kind of like a missing link between art and science. And maybe in another life I could have been an artist or something like that.
Exactly. That let's complete it to the picture. I really believe that like the plastic surgery requires like the creativity that you have to be born with, and also to have that let's say 3D perspective of the tissue that like the specialty they do not need. And at the end, uh, yeah, like you are an artist in the way like of creating all of that.
Yes. Yes, I think that's the reason why at the end of the day I got into this specialty because you can seamlessly integrate the science with the art. Like in one moment I'm talking about statistical significance in a study, and next moment that we're talking literally about philosophy or art and stuff like that.
Sure. Not sure, but like I wouldn't say also the only are a little bit like a cares like yours, South no means like on those
Yeah.
devices for them.
Yeah.
So it's a study. What advice would you give to the international arts residents? Like as now as not final year resident also.
I think I've already mentioned that going abroad is one of the best things you can do. To broaden your horizons, and to broaden your time view, and learn new stuff, meet new people. Other than this, I would just say, don't get too fixated on anything. Like, I don't know, I need to do this, otherwise I'm a failure. I just say maybe kind of go with the flow and see where it takes you, because nobody can see the future. And like when I was in med school first year, I would have never ever 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 thought that I would become a plastic surgeon. Like never. If you ask me, I would say, I'm interested in neurology or stuff like that. Never ever a surgical specialty. So we just never know when life takes you. Because maybe the problem is taking is the best way supposed to do. And that's
So I would like to thank you for coming on today's show. I look forward to see all your results and like your future work. I really believe that you're gonna succeed in your microsurgery career. And after this talk, I think it's really powering and like giving support to all residents that are found training and self-restraining fellowship internationally. So I think it's really helpful for all of us. Thank you so much.
thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Enhance Your Practice podcast series brought to you by ASPS University. You can listen to our other episodes on any of the podcast platforms where they are currently available, or you can download recordings directly from ASPS EdNet. New seasons and episodes coming soon on practice management. Please contact ASPS Education with your feedback and suggestions for future podcast topics. Thank you for tuning in.